how Red Bull invented the $5 energy drink. Imagine walking into a gas station and paying $5 for 8 ounces of liquid. Not artisan coffee, not fresh juice, just caffeine, sugar, and some B vitamins in a tiny can. Now imagine doing this willingly, even eagerly, multiple times per week. Sounds absurd, right? Yet millions of people do exactly that. The global energy drink market is now worth over $80 billion annually. And it all started with one Austrian businessman who discovered a working-class beverage in Thailand and turned it into a luxury product in the West. This is the story of how Red Bull convinced the world to pay $5 for something that costs 20 cents to make. The year is 1982. Dietrich Mateschitz, an Austrian marketing executive for a German toothpaste company, arrives in Bangkok on a business trip. He's exhausted, jet-lagged, struggling to adjust to the time difference. A colleague suggests he try Krating Daeng, a local tonic drink popular with Thai laborers and truck drivers. The drink is sweet, heavily caffeinated, and sold in small brown bottles for just a few cents. Mateschitz drinks it. Within minutes, he feels alert, energized. His jet lag seems to vanish, and in that moment, he sees an opportunity. Not to sell this drink to Thai workers, but to repackage it for Western consumers willing to pay exponentially more. Krating Daeng wasn't new. It had been created in 1976 by Thai businessman Chaleo Uvidia. The formula was simple: caffeine, taurine, B vitamins, and lots of sugar. It was marketed to blue-collar workers who needed to stay awake during long shifts. Factory workers, construction laborers, truck drivers doing overnight hauls. The drink wasn't fancy. It came in plain bottles. It tasted medicinal. And it cost almost nothing, but it worked. And that's all that mattered to its target customers. Mateschitz recognized something Chaleo hadn't. This functional beverage could be repositioned, not as a cheap energy boost for laborers, but as a premium lifestyle product for young Western consumers. He proposed a partnership. Chaleo would provide the formula, Mateschitz would handle international marketing and distribution. They'd split ownership 50-50, Chaleo agreed. And in 1987, Red Bull GmbH was founded in Austria. The drink's name was a direct translation. Krating Daeng means Red Bull in Thai. But everything else would change. First, the formula was modified. The original Thai version was syrupy and non-carbonated. Mateschitz made it carbonated, gave it a sharper taste, and reduced the sweetness slightly to appeal to Western palates. Then came the packaging. Instead of a plain bottle, Red Bull would come in a slim 8-ounce aluminum can, blue and silver, sleek, distinctive. Nothing like the chunky energy drinks that would later flood the market. The can was designed to look premium, almost pharmaceutical. This wasn't soda. This was something different, something functional. But the real genius was in the pricing strategy. Mateschitz didn't compete with Coke or Pepsi. He didn't try to undercut them on price or match their distribution scale. Instead, he positioned Red Bull as something entirely new, a functional beverage. Not refreshment, but performance enhancement. And performance, he understood, could command a premium price. While a 12-ounce can of Coke cost about $1, Red Bull's 8-ounce can would sell for $3. Later, as the brand strengthened, that price would climb to $5 or more. The message was clear. This isn't a soft drink. This is liquid productivity. And productivity is worth paying for. Red Bull launched in Austria in 1987. Sales were modest at first. The drink was strange. It didn't taste like soda. It was expensive, and Austrian retailers weren't sure where to stock it. Was it a soft drink? A health supplement? An alcoholic mixer? Red Bull's solution was to bypass traditional retail channels initially and focus on bars and nightclubs. They gave away cases to bartenders and club owners, encouraged them to serve it as a mixer with vodka. The Red Bull vodka became a nightlife staple. Young people associated the drink with partying, with staying up late, with having energy when they should be exhausted. The brand became cool by association. Then came the marketing, and this is where Red Bull truly revolutionized the industry. Traditional beverage companies advertised on TV. They ran commercials during prime time. They sponsored mainstream events. Red Bull did none of that. Instead, they invested in extreme sports. Skateboarding, snowboarding, BMX, motocross, cliff diving, Formula One racing. They didn't just sponsor these events. They owned them. Red Bull created its own competitions, its own teams, its own media production company. They weren't selling a drink. They were selling a lifestyle, an identity, a tribe you could belong to by drinking their product. The tagline captured it perfectly. Red Bull gives you wings. Not energy, not caffeine. Wings. The implication was transformation. Drink this and you become something more, something capable of extraordinary things. The animated commercials reinforced this. Simple stick figure animations showing ordinary people gaining superhuman abilities after drinking Red Bull. The ads were cheap to produce, memorable, and they ran everywhere. On late-night TV, in magazines, on billboards near college campuses. By the late 90s, Red Bull had expanded across Europe and into the United States. American college students became a key demographic. Students pulling all-nighters, cramming for exams, working late shifts to pay tuition. Red Bull positioned itself as the solution. Study fuel, productivity in a can. Campus representatives, called Red Bull girls, drove branded cars and gave away free cans at libraries and student unions. The brand embedded itself in youth culture without ever feeling like corporate advertising. And here's where the economics become stunning. An 8-ounce can of Red Bull costs approximately 20 cents to produce. That includes the liquid, the can, the label, and shipping. The retail price is typically $5. That's a 2,400% markup. For comparison, Coca-Cola's markup is roughly 100%. Even luxury bottled water, often mocked for being overpriced, has markups around 500%. Red Bull's margins are in a completely different category, and consumers accept it because Red Bull successfully convinced them they're not buying a beverage. They're buying performance. By 2012, Red Bull had become the dominant force in energy drinks globally. The company sold over 5 billion cans annually. Annual revenue exceeded $5 billion. Dietrich Mateschitz' personal wealth was estimated at over $20 billion, making him one of the richest people in Austria. Shalu Jovicia, the Thai co-founder, passed away in 2012, leaving his heirs a fortune worth over $5 billion. A Thai laborer's drink had become one of the most valuable beverage brands on earth. But Red Bull's success created an entire industry. Competitors flooded the market. Monster Energy, Rockstar, 5 Hour Energy, Bang, Celsius, NAS, Full Throttle, dozens of brands, all copying the Red Bull formula with slight variations. Bigger cans, different flavors, Marty caffeine, different sweeteners. The energy drink category exploded, and every brand followed Red Bull's pricing strategy. Premium positioning, small cans, high margins. By 2024, the global energy drink market had grown to over $80 billion, and the average price per ounce had remained consistently high. Consumers had been trained to accept that energy drinks, despite costing almost nothing to produce, should be expensive. The health concerns emerged gradually. Excessive caffeine consumption, sugar crashes, heart palpitations, emergency room visits. Studies linked energy drinks to increased heart rate and blood pressure. Several countries banned or restricted Red Bull, particularly for minors. The drink was prohibited in France for years. Denmark initially banned it. Norway restricted its sale. But in most markets, Red Bull remained legal and enormously popular. The company's response to criticism was consistent. Red Bull is safe when consumed responsibly. It contains no more caffeine than a strong cup of coffee, and technically, that's true. An 8-ounce Red Bull contains about 80 milligrams of caffeine. A typical 8-ounce coffee contains 95 milligrams. The difference is context. People sip coffee slowly. They chug energy drinks, and they often drink multiple cans in quick succession. But health concerns haven't slowed the industry. If anything, it's expanded. Red Bull now offers sugar-free versions, organic versions, different sizes, tropical editions. The brand has diversified while maintaining its core identity, and the pricing has held firm. That $5 can, adjusted for inflation, costs more now than when it was introduced. Yet demand continues to grow. Why? Because Red Bull successfully made energy drinks a cultural product, not just a functional one. You're not buying caffeine, you're buying membership in a tribe. You're signaling that you're busy, ambitious, productive, that you need energy drinks because you're doing important things. It's status through consumption. The story of Red Bull is really the story of premium positioning. Take a commodity, package it differently, market it to a different audience, and charge exponentially more. The Thai laborers who drank Krating Daeng for pennies were getting the same functional benefit as Western consumers paying $5. But Mateschitz understood that Western consumers weren't buying function alone. They were buying identity, story, aspiration, and they were willing to pay for it. Today, when you buy a Red Bull, you're participating in one of the most successful rebranding exercises in business history. A cheap Thai energy tonic became a global luxury product without changing its fundamental formula. 20 cents of ingredients, $5 at retail, 50 years of marketing genius. That's how Red Bull invented the $5 energy drink and convinced billions of people that it was worth every cent.